Hi everyone. Let's go ahead and talk about how to go ahead and color something in Adobe Animate. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open up my Create New, and I'm going to go ahead, when I open that up, I'm just going to go ahead and leave that as a standard video, just like we normally would make. Hit the Create button, and once the stage opens up here, there we are, I'm going to make sure that I'm set for Animator, so I have all my tools out that I need. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and bring an image onto the desktop. And so all I really need to do is, from my desktop, drag the image onto the stage and then release. So I got myself a nice little leprechaun here. I'm going to go ahead and zoom out here with a Command minus and use my free transform tool. And I'm going to shrink him up to fit the stage. So I'm going to hold the Shift key, go to one of the four corners here and drag in. Then I'll move him up. And I'm going to zoom back in here with a Control plus. There we go. So I've got him in on the stage setting. Now what I need to do here with this guy is I need to go ahead and set it up so that I can color him in the program. So I need to bitmap him. So with him on the stage now, I'm going to go ahead and go Modify, Bitmap, and Trace Bitmap. Now when I do this, mind you that the character that I brought in, you'll notice it's very white in the background, black on the inking. So when I did this in my sketchbook, I went back and did the red pencil, I did the inking on top. But when I brought it onto the desktop, I took the image into the image adjustments there on the desktop, and I brought up the contrast. And so that way the black and white showed only, and it kicked back any of the red or any of the under sketch work that I had done for preparatory drawing on there. Okay, now that being said, so I've got a pretty clean image here. So what I'm looking for now is the preset on Adobe Animate is color threshold 100. Minimum area for pixels is 2, which means keep it very tight. And the corner threshold, normal, okay? And curve to fit, smooth. So I can hit preview. And there it is. That looks pretty darn good. I'm very happy with that. So if it looks good, I'm going to say OK. There. Now I've just said OK. And you'll notice that everything is pixelated. Everything has the little filter screen of black dots on there. What I need to do is I need to first off delete all the background stuff, so all the stuff that's not the character. So what I'm going to do is go over to here and click on the white arrow, and then I click off to the side. Now I'm going to move my cursor very close to the character without touching it, and notice I click there one time with a left click on the mouse. Notice it activates that background area. Now all I have to do is hit the delete key. Boom, done. Hit the delete key. Now I notice that there is a little tiny negative space right here between the shillelagh here and his leg. So I'm going to go back in and zoom into that and delete it. So if I go in and go down, there it is. I click on that. You see it's selected, delete. So now I can go ahead, pull myself back, and I'm ready to go ahead and start the coloring process. Really what I want to do is that, let's see, if I'm going to adjust this, that I'm going to go ahead and really just go ahead and grab on the fill palette here for the fill color and start grabbing my greens to go ahead and fill that subject in. So I grab a green, then I select my paint bucket, and I can go ahead and start dropping in some colors. Let's see, I've got a nice brighter green here. So I'll go in with the coat, and I'm literally just moving the head of the arrow into that space. I don't have to have the paint bucket into the space, but just the tip of that arrow, and I'm going to go ahead and throw some color in there. Now let's go ahead and go on to the next thing here, maybe do the pants. Oh, kick on that. Let's go down to a slightly darker green. There we go. And put that into the darker green phase there. And let's see, I'm going to go ahead and do the hat. Probably do the hat something closer to the top one here. Let's see, let's go into maybe a slightly brighter green here. Let's do something like this one here. I like that. And let's see if we give him a jaunty light green hat. Too green, huh? Too light. I think I need to go ahead and do the body, same as the coat. So I'm going to use the eyedropper here. Eyedrop the coat color that I already used, so I got to make sure I'm going to match it. Hit my eyedropper and then reselect those areas. There we go. So my hat matches my coat. Now for the band on the hat, let's go ahead and match that color that the pants are. So I drop that, I drop it, and then grab with my paint bucket and boom, boom. There we go. I'm looking pretty fashion coordinated here. So let's go ahead now and throw in some hair color. Well, click on that. I'm a leprechaun, so don't you know I'm a bit of a leprechaun, so I'm going to go ahead and use me orange in the color there. Don't you know? You know, I'm thinking to myself I could be a little bit oranger. So let's see here. Let's see. Oh, I like that one there. That's a fine one. Oh, look at that. It's preserve us. I'm looking a bit more orange in the hair. It's a fine thing. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and color in the eyeballs now. And I'll go back in here. Let's do maybe kind of a greenish somewhere in there. That looks pretty good. And grab my paint bucket and drop and drop. There we go. Now let's go into my my skin tone now. For the skin tone, I'm going to use an orange, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and kind of soften it up a little bit. So if I've got that selected now, but if I go back in and I select this little guy right here, which is the free transform, or not free transform, sorry, it is the color picker. With this little ball at being the color picker, I can fine tune. So I click on it, and you see I get my color picker menu up. So I can go here and fine tune that. I can get a toned down version or a tinted version of that same color. The original color I chose is right there in this lower box, but the color I move on top here, you'll see it changes in this upper window. So it allows me to compare my new color from old color. So I'm thinking about with the skin tone there, I want to go a little bit more into the orange and then a little bit more of this sort of pale. There we go. That looks pretty good right there. Real pale kind of light peach color, but I want it too dark. I want it pretty fairly light skin there. There we go. And so now I can just drop right in. Hey, look at that color. It just filled right in there. So I'll click into there, and then I just basically, again, move the tip of that arrow right into those areas and color up my character. Looking pretty good. I'm feeling good about that. So now let's go ahead and do the shirt color. I don't want to keep it white. I want it to pop a little bit. So I'm going to use yellow and do the same kind of thing and use the color picker here. And I'm going to take that into a very much a tinted white, very, very pale white. So I'm going to go up in there now and just color that collar. There's there. Color this side of the collar over here. Oh, and at the ends of the sleeves here and there. There we go. So just a little bit of color in that. Very faint, very pale, but just enough. I'm going to do that same color in the eyeball right there, just to give a little something. I don't want to leave that just flat white. So next thing I'm going to need to do is let's go ahead and color that ascot, the ascot that he's wearing so jauntily. That's going to generally be a green also. I think I'll go with let's see, I want lighter green or darker green? Bluish green, maybe a kind of a muddy green there. Let's try that. And let's go into here. So click, click, click. There we go. It looks pretty darn good. I like that. Okay, I like it. I like it. Now let's go ahead and go into that the chalet. Sorry. Let's go into the shamrock and do that nice bright green on there. Or we're going to do electric green on there. All that shamrock just pops right off there of his hand there. And you notice I'm putting that little cursor right there. If you need to zoom in a little bit to go ahead and hit that exactly, go right ahead. Don't feel embarrassed by that. It's easy to do. For the red of the mouth, inside the mouth, I don't want to use that bright red. I can select it, but then I'm going to go back in and select the color picker because I want to use kind of a toned down, kind of a muddy grayish red to go the deep darkness in the mouth here. There's the color I'm going to use versus the one that was the original color. Say okay, and boom, I get a nice deep kind of warm brownish color to give some depth into that mouth area. Next thing is let's go into the shillelagh and the shoes to finish up. So I'm going to go ahead here and let's go into the browns that kind of come with it here. Let's go with this brown right here, and let's do the shillelagh here. Let's color that in. Now do the shoes, but for the shoes I'm going to go a slightly darker version. So I'm going to start with that color picker again, and go and tone down that color. There's a nice toned down version of that. So I click once there, click there, and bingo bango, my character is done. I have painted my character in Adobe Animate. Now, when you want to go ahead and eject this from the program, you literally just want to go File and Export, and then Export Image, okay? When you get that, it will then give you the option. And right here, as you can see, this is my pop-up window here. With this, I can go basically a GIF, JPEG, PNG, PNG, leave it at PNG. Leave it at PNG. Leave it at PNG because that way you can select transparency. You want transparency is that when you export it, you've got nothing in the background. That way you can re-import it into any other thing you want to do, and you've got basically reusability built into that figure because you don't have a background color. Okay. The presets that are here, basically, it's going to set the basically the image or the background area at this height and width, but that's okay. You can go back and crop that out very easily afterwards. You notice here it's select for transparency, which is we want. If I click it off there, you notice how it turns white background. Don't want it. Transparent, that's what you want. So now really all I have to do now is just go ahead and click save and then choose where I want it to go. I'm going to go ahead and say leprechaun, and I'm going to go ahead and put that onto my desktop and set as a PNG, say save, and I'm done. I did it. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's all there is to go ahead and coloring an object in Adobe Animate. But I will say this one thing. Let's say perhaps you forgot to add a line and maybe you want to make a difference in the color. Let me go ahead and show you how to do that really quickly here, okay? Let's see here. Let's see if I want to put, I know. Let's say I want to put a little patch on his coat, okay? Watch this. All I have to do is go ahead and grab the classic brush here, go ahead and change the color, let's say to black to draw in, okay? And right over here on the size, make sure it's set to 1 here. I can go ahead and zoom in, okay? And I'm gonna move this over. And right here, I go ahead and draw a little patch. Right there, right there, right there, and right there. Maybe I wanna put a couple little marks right here, like little stitches. There we go. And then I'll go ahead and minimize, zoom myself out. And now to go ahead and put a slightly different color in there, all I have to do is this. Go to the color picker, choose my color, or use my eyedropper tool. And maybe I'll select this, or maybe I'll select the color from the pants. And then I'll go ahead and just grab my eyedropper, go right into that section, boom, it instantly fills it. It's that simple to add a line and to change the color. That's all you have to do is literally go to the paintbrush, select that black outline, draw the shape in there, then go back in, select a color with your paintbrush, and drop it in. That's it. So there you go, folks. So we've gone ahead and showed you not only how to do the drawing, how to export, and how to add a line if you forget something when you initially did the artwork itself and you did the drawing. So folks, go ahead and color your character. If you don't have another program for coloring like Photoshop or Illustrator or Procreate or Krita or Paint Tool Sai or whatever it is, this is what you can do, and this is how you do it in Adobe Animate. All right, guys, have a good one. Go for it and keep on coloring, and we'll see you back in class.